What's going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City transfer video, where today I want to formally welcome James Trafford back to Manchester City as they re-sign him from Burnley for a fee believed to be roughly around £30 million. Some have reported it is a British record transfer for a British goalkeeper. Doesn't matter, just wanted to formally welcome James Trafford back to Manchester City. So before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, then do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day here on YouTube with all the latest City transfer news. So if you haven't already, do subscribe. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on today's video. We're aiming for 400 likes, and do get your thoughts as well in the comments below, welcoming James Trafford back to Manchester City. So, situation that we're looking at here with James Trafford signing for Manchester City. I think City thinking long term here about who could be their number one goalkeeper. Well, they're thinking that it could well be English homegrown talent James Trafford, who's risen through the ranks at Manchester City's academy. He's prospered out on the loan route. He's been sold with a buyback clause, which Manchester City have activated and brought him back, which I think is a tremendous model and example to showcase all the high quality academy players that we've got at Manchester City, that just because you're in the Manchester City academy doesn't guarantee you a spot in the first team, and just because you play for Manchester City's academy it doesn't automatically mean you're going to be a success on loan. You've got to work hard like James Trafford has, and sometimes you're going to be sold with buybacks included. It doesn't mean that you're not wanted by Manchester City or you're not good enough for Manchester City. It's Manchester City showcasing actually that if you work hard and you are a player that Manchester City genuinely want to keep an eye on, and if you're good enough to be around the City Academy and you are working hard and you are impressing out on your loan spells, and if you've made a permanent move and you've got that buyback clause, Manchester City are still watching and keeping an eye on you. And I think this is a really good example and a really good story to showcase of what it looks like when you showcase hard work with natural gifted talent, with also fantastic contacts to showcase that actually you can go from a loan spell at Accrington Stanley and a loan spell in League One playing for Bolton Wanderers to being able to be a goalkeeper who's going to help Manchester City to compete to win the biggest and best trophies, to win the Premier League and win the Champions League, because that is what in the long term City will be thinking about. Now, we know that we're hitting a front when it came to our goalkeeping situation. Edison and Ortega having less than a year left on their contract. We don't know who's going to be staying and who's going to be going right now. We can speculate. We have a good educated guess about what's going on, but we don't factually know what is going on. So we have to look and read between the lines and assess that using the facts that we do know, which is Man City here have signed another goalkeeper. We've already brought in Bettinelli. He's replaced Scott Carson as City's third choice goalkeeper. And what we're looking at here is one of the two non-homegrown goalkeepers, Edison or Ortega, are going to have to leave this summer so James Trafford can come in and take their spot in the squad. Now, it is looking like at the time of me filming this video that goalkeeper is going to be Stefan Ortega that does leave, which means James Trafford would come in initially as Manchester City's backup goalkeeper, number two, happy to sit on the bench, but also happy to be putting pressure and working hard to displace Edison. That Edison, obviously, with 11 months left on his contract, it's going to be a natural integration here for James Trafford to be given opportunities, not just in the Carabao Cup and in the FA Cup. There will be games where he will play minutes in the Premier League and in the Champions League, and obviously Edison, he travels a lot when it comes to playing for the Brazil national squad, so he may be suffering from jet lag or fatigue or whatever, and there may be opportunities where there's a really tight turnaround in terms of preparations after international breaks, heading into the next round of Premier League fixtures, and that naturally would be where you'd be relying on James Trafford to come in and be given the nod instead. Now, I'm well aware that Trafford's around the England national team, which is fantastic, and if James Trafford can impress over the next 12 months, there's a good chance that he could be going to the World Cup with England. In fact, I'd go as far to say that if James Trafford, by the time we hit May, has displaced Edison as Manchester City's first choice number one goalkeeper, then he will be going to the World Cup, and there's a good chance he could be England's starting goalkeeper as well, in particular if City end up having a good season and Trafford is having a fantastic season in between the sticks with Manchester City. So we will see what does happen with regards to that, but it's such an exciting opportunity opportunity, this, for James Trafford, and it's exactly the kind of profile that Manchester City would want to bring in when it comes to freshening up their squad with players who haven't won too much, who are hungry to go out, have a point to prove, and want to win the big trophies once more. Because what we don't want in our squad is complacency. So having fresh hunger and desire goes really far, and in particular when you've got naturally gifted, high-quality players coming in, then they've got a real point to prove with a real high quality of standard that they can play towards. Now, James Trafford has that and then some. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's had a brilliant season in the Championship with Burnley. He deserves to have a promotion into the Premier League. He had the opportunity to be Burnley's #1 starting goalkeeper in the Premier League, but he's chosen that this is the right time for him to return back to Manchester City and have an assessment over the next 12 months to see if he can be Manchester City's new #1 goalkeeper. So it makes sense from that point of view, and he obviously feels like he is ready for the challenge. So I'm really excited about James Trafford showcasing to the City faithful what he can do. Now, he is still a young goalkeeper, 22 years old. Obviously, it helps City selling a non-homegrown player in the form of probably Ortega to bring in a homegrown goalkeeper, but City's still got more work to do when it comes to meeting the thresholds for the Champions League squad registrations, when it comes to having too many non-homegrown players, but doing things like selling non-homegrown players and replacing them with homegrown players does help Manchester City towards that quota. So it makes a lot of sense from that point of view, from the business point of view as well. Manchester City get themselves a potential here, high-quality new #1 goalkeeper for the future, signing on a 5-year contract. Manchester City wanted to sort out that goalkeeping situation, and it's very much a case here where only half the job's done here for City, because we still need to sort out and get clarity on the future of Ederson, and if he leaves, is Trafford going to be City's new #1, and if so, are we going to go out and bring in another high-quality #2 goalkeeper, or are we seeing James Trafford strictly as a #2 goalkeeper, and they just want to keep it on a year-by-year basis and bring in a high-quality goalkeeper, a new #1 goalkeeper next summer? There is a possibility that that could happen, so we'll have to wait and see. But the one thing I do want to make a point of, 22 years old, still very young for a goalkeeper. He's still got a good 10, 15, maybe even 20 years left in his career. He's still at the early parts of his development. He isn't the complete article. He's a fantastic goalkeeper with bags of potential, a good shot stopper, good penalty save on him as well, and good with his distribution. He's not Ederson, but who is Ederson when it comes to distribution? And I want him to be given a fair opportunity by Manchester City and Pep Guardiola, and when he is given the opportunity, I want to see the City faithful back in the goalkeeper 100%. He makes a mistake, don't get on his back, support him and back him, because he is a fantastic goalkeeper. He is one of the 2 goalkeepers that I were really happy for Man City to bring in, the other being Diogo Costa, that I thought City would make the move for. So getting one of our top 2 priority signings coming in when it comes to signing a goalkeeper, one of the very best talents in English football, and for me, he will be England's future #1 goalkeeper. And when it comes to having homegrown players here, you want the players who are playing at the highest level and playing for the England national team and a regular starter. So Manchester City jumping the gun a bit, getting a good deal to bring James Trafford in, where, you know, who would have said if he could have made a move to Newcastle, he impresses there after a season or two, you're all of a sudden looking at a goalkeeper worth 50, 60, 70 million pounds, and you're going to struggle to bring them in. So Manchester City stolen a march on Newcastle and said now is the right time for James Trafford to come here. And most importantly, when it comes to these transfers, the player saying, I don't want to sign for X, Y and Z, I want to sign for Manchester City and Manchester City alone. He wants to be at Manchester City. He wants to be a success, and James Trafford will do everything. I know he will. He will do everything he can to be Manchester City's #1 goalkeeper and be the best that he can be when it comes to being Manchester City's first choice goalkeeper. It's a really exciting signing. People need to be patient with him. I'm really happy with this signing. City have got a good deal. City are happy. Burnley are happy. James Trafford's happy. Only ones left unhappy here are Newcastle, and that's because it's their own fault, dragging their heels too long to get the deal sorted. When City weren't interested in goalkeepers just a month back, Newcastle had their opportunity. They've not taken it. City have got their opportunity to bring back a high-quality academy player to compete for the #1 spot, and that's exactly what they've gone and done. 5-year contract, reportedly over £30 million, a British record fee for a British goalkeeper. Welcome back to Manchester City, James Trafford. So that has been today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy this video, please do leave it a thumbs up. We're aiming for 400 likes. Get your thoughts in the comments below, welcoming James Trafford to Manchester City as well. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here. Press that red button, press the bell, and put your push notifications on. It is free to subscribe. I'm going to keep you guys up to date every single day with all the latest City transfer news, as I imagine now the focus is going to turn towards a new contract, in particular looking towards Rodri, and also looking at outgoings and also still the potential of incomings as well. Trafford may be City's 6th summer signing, of course, already brought in a Nuri, we've brought in Cherki, we've brought in Tajani Reinders, we've brought in Bettinelli, we've got Zaveri Naipan, and James Trafford makes it number 6 for Manchester City. And I wouldn't rule out the possibility of maybe Man City wanting to have a look at defence and wanting to have a look on that right hand side to replace Kyle Walker long term. So there is the potential that there could still be signing number 7. Been a good window so far for Manchester City, still very much plenty of work to do in terms of contracts, outgoings, and still potential incomings, and I'm going to keep you guys up to date, so do make sure that you have subscribed. Social media links are in the description too if you want to go and follow me on my X, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries, and I'll see you all again real soon for the next one. Welcome James Trafford to Manchester City. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been JSGC. Peace. Ciao for now.